Good morning, PASW clients and staff, friends joining us. Welcome to Tuesday's class. Hope you enjoyed yesterday when we looked at the great, brilliant genius Mozart and all of his wonderful, beautiful melodic music that came out of his mind. Today we are going to be doing, I'm going to vary it up a little bit if it's okay with you. We're going to be doing a little bit of film history, iconic film scenes, iconic directors. So, we'll still be staying with music, obviously, because this is a music class, but I do want to introduce you to very famous performances, visual scenes, stuff to give you context of the last 50 to 100 years of what's going on in the cinema with films. We have, and because of John, he's provided an acting studio, an acting space for you guys to audition, to rehearse with Diana and David, for you guys. So it's I just thought it would be kind of cool to provide a little bit of historical context when you're acting and saying lines. Who, I know that we know the actors today, the famous ones, but who were the people that earlier that were that influenced the whole other kind of acting technique and all that stuff. And again, David and Diana and John really are the experts with this, but I just thought it would be fun to visually show you some scenes and to talk about that. So we were in Austria yesterday with Mozart, so let's fly over to Sweden and talk about one of the most famous directors of all time, Ingmar Bergman. Maybe you don't know Bergman, not to be confused with Ingrid Bergman, who's a beautiful Swedish actress. This is Ingmar Bergman. No relation, by the way. So I was confused as a kid growing up. That's why I just I wanted us to all be on the same page. So we're going to be talking about the director, Ingmar Bergman. Bergman has influenced a huge generation of filmmakers, in particular Woody Allen. It's his favorite filmmaker of all time. So we're going to talk a little bit about Bergman's life, about what he accomplished, why he is so important. We'll come back to that question, of course. Then I want to show you a scene from probably his most famous film, The Seventh Seal, and see what you guys think of that. We won't get too morbid because that movie does deal with the existence of God and the inevitability of death, but we'll try to keep it light and fun too, because last thing we need is to be sad or whatever. But trust me, if you stay with me, we're gonna get through this together in a very educational, fun way. If we can make Bergman fun, maybe we can try. Okay, so Ingmar Bergman, July 14th, 1918, born in Sweden, lived a long time until he was about 89 years old. Those Scandinavians know how to take care of themselves and live a good, long life. But Swedish director, writer, producer, and he worked in film, television, theater, radio. I mean, not only was he a great director in the theater, but he was also a brilliant writer. Directed over 60 films and documentaries, for television and for movies, and most of which he also wrote. So when you think of somebody directing something, that's very important. When you think of the writer also directing it, this phenomenon was big I would say in the 40s, starting with Preston Sturges, which is somebody that I do want to talk about, because he was one of the first at least mainstream Hollywood writer-directors, where really the studio systems didn't allow that because they were factory made. They had an editor, they had a sound person, they had a writer, or a few writers, they had a director. They were all just, they would delegate it to, Paramount Studios would delegate it to different people. With Preston Sturges, he had his own screenplays that he had written, and he wanted to direct them. And like Woody Allen has said, if you've written the story, the screenplay, then directing should be easy because you are, as the writer, know how it should look, how it should sound. That's not always the case. Sometimes there's just brilliant directors that know how to get things out of actors that writers can't. So it's not always the case. But in this case with Bergman, a famous, a very great writer and director. And so really the auteur theory kind of comes in here. Auteur meaning kind of, and that goes back to Charlie Chaplin. Sorry if I'm skipping around, but the auteur is the artist's total control over the whole thing. When you watch a Bergman movie, you know that he had everything. It's a Bergman movie. It's not Bergman and then, corporate CEOs saying change the ending, and then, so-and-so's neighbors saying, this offends me and I can't do this. It's not Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't really work like that. But when you see Woody Allen, when you see Charlie Chaplin, it's their creation. So that's what the auteur theory means. And I don't want to get too analytical, of course, but I want to give you context. So Bergman's whole philosophy in all of his films is that it's always about, it's never political. It's always about the human condition. And that's why we still read Shakespeare, right? Because he always dealt with the human condition, and that'll live on forever. If I made a movie about a cell phone today, and it's great today, great tomorrow, next week it would already be dated, right? Nothing wrong with that. But technology can be dated, politics can, of course, but human condition is we're always going to be living with fear and pain and happiness and all of these things that we've been talking about. So part of his whole thing with film is questioning the human condition, not offering answers. Just like I never want to tell you guys what to think, tell you guys what to do, but only sharing information with you guys, sharing stuff and us questioning our decisions and questioning life. So I hope that that's what you're getting out of this. So he develops a repertory company of Swedish actors whom he repeatedly casts in his plays, movies, much like we have a repertory company at Performing Arts Studio West, our Black Box Theater. John, David, Diana, they work with you actors every day, and it's a company, and you guys are in all of John's and Diana's productions, and so he kind of finds a group of actors and creates this theater company for his material to be performed at. So he starts making movies in the 40s and 50s. I mean, from the 40s on until almost till 2000 or something, he's making movies. The movie we're going to be looking at is probably a scene that you maybe have seen. You've probably seen it, a parody of it rather than the original one, because it's so famous that so many Woody Allen, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I mean, a lot of movies have spoofed this because it is a great scene, and I don't really think any other filmmakers were dealing with issues like this and issues that were metaphorical, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is The Seventh Seal. Seventh Seal is probably one of his biggest films, and the title's from the Bible, from the Book of Revelation, Seventh Seal, and it's a kind of a historical fantasy. It's set in Sweden during the Black Death. And it tells this journey of this medieval knight, Max von Sydow, and a game of chess he plays with the Grim Reaper, with the personification of death. And we'll see you'll see him in this black cape. Now, if you know, the Grim Reaper is a personification of death coming to you to say, now is your time to come with me. And of course, human intuition is no, I'm not ready. I don't want to come. I don't want to come with you. You go on. I'll catch up with you later. Something like that. That's our survival instinct. So, but death comes to Max von Sydow's character and to take his life. But Max von Sydow says, "Well, let's play chess first." So and see where the game goes. So of course, this is all metaphorical. He doesn't want to play chess, really, right? You could think of chess as being a metaphor for life. Different moves, different plays, different techniques, outsmarting, winning, all that stuff. So let's watch this very beautifully shot on the beach in Sweden, opening. It's in the beginning of the movie, opening shot of these two fine actors in Bergman's Seventh Seal.
Vem är du?
Jag är döden.
Kommer du för att hämta mig?
Jag har redan länge gått vid din sida.
Det vet jag.
Är du beredd?
Min kropp är rädd. Inte jag själv. Vänta ett ögonblick.
Så säger ni alla. Men jag lämnar inga uppskov.
Du spelar ju schack, inte sant?
Hur vet du det?
Ja. Jag har sett det på målningar och hört i visorna.
Ja, jag är verkligen en ganska skicklig schackspelare.
Du kan ändå inte vara skickligare än jag.
Varför vill du spela schack med mig?
Det är min sak.
Det har du rätt i.
Villkoret är att jag får leva så länge jag står dig emot. Spelar jag det matt, förger du mig. Du fick svart.
Det passar ju bäst så. Inte sant?
So I hope that wasn't too spooky. There's some, not comedy in it, but some, it's playful in a way where obviously you know that this isn't real. This is in man's human existence and his thought. This is in his existential psyche. When I say man, I mean man, woman too. But the chess game is a brilliant metaphor for man's attempt to defy mortality. We don't want to die. We'll do anything we can, and even if we can put it off by a chess game. This is what Bergman's genius was. Nobody was making movies like this, especially not Hollywood. This is 10 years after the Second World War, so we want happy stuff coming out of here. And Bergman was kind of the founders of the, I don't really want to say like the art house cinema, but a little bit. I mean, I think this movie influenced Peter Greenaway, a lot of other people, into thinking, oh, movies don't have to just be, two people on stage talking. They can also represent something larger, allegorical, metaphorical. It's not just realism. It can be realism mixed with this guy talking to death. I mean, obviously, we can't talk to death. Death isn't a person, but here he's personified as a person. And Bergman was probably one of the first directors using the film medium to show that. His personal life was, I think it was kind of crazy. He was married 5 times, and big ladies' man, and big used a lot of the ladies though in his brilliant performances in his movies and plays, and but I think enjoyed Hollywood movies. I know that he loved watching BMX bikers in his older age, and he was a big fan of Sex and the City. So all this stuff about the seriousness of his movies, he was, I think, a pretty quote unquote normal, just guy because all of his movies deal with this kind of stuff. So if you want to dive more into his movies, if you like these themes, almost all of them are gems. They're almost all brilliant movies because he was just such an important character. So I hope you enjoyed this. Ingmar Bergman's Seventh Seal, 1957. So we'll do a little bit more film history later, but I mean, tomorrow we'll do a music class. But I do want you guys to know about these names, know about these scenes, know about the movies. And again, you don't have to like it, but we should know about these things. They're important. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed this. See you tomorrow for Wednesday. Bye.